Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for waiting. We're going to go into the second best of 3 of the evening. It's going to be a ZVZ. We just had a really great match with Maru versus Sue. Maru did come out on top, but man, there were some great plays there from Sue. Really impressive stuff with Maru, especially in game 3. I mean, once he realized, okay, I don't want to play late game. I don't want to play like the proper, let's both go to the end of the earth with our tech here and, you know, use up all of the map. He just went in there and completely killed Sue.
Oh, it's a smart move. I mean, you could tell that Sue was kind of metagaming Maru's passive playstyle there.
Yeah.
And Maru's just like, I'm not going to play into that anymore here in game 3. I'm going to pull the rug out from under you. And as you said, it was a decapitation move. Very cool. And speaking of decapitation moves, I feel like we are in store for a couple of those because besides Maru, there are nothing but Zergs in this group. And ZBZ is perhaps the most volatile matchup that I ever get to watch.
This is going to be a good ZVZ for sure. This is, I think that SHIN's supposed to win this. By the way, SHIN, formerly known as Ragnarok. We'll see if he sticks with this ID permanently. Kind of crazy to change your ID this long in StarCraft 2. DRG, sometimes he's so on point, sometimes he just doesn't look great. And I don't know which season it is. We're going to have an idea after game 1, but right now I want to see which DRG is coming in today.
As a wild card, he kind of feels like Gumiho to me in that regard, not in terms of the range of builds, but just in terms of in any given season, you feel like he can go to the finals or he might get knocked out in the first round.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. So, you know, he did have a decent run last year. You know, he was definitely present. So if he's built, you know, he's built off of the play before, I think he can come back and be more viable this time around. We're going to go to Hectite here for game number 1.
Set number 1. Set 2 will be played on Golden Aura. Set 3 on Hard Lead. This is SHIN's pick here on Hecate. It's always interesting to me what maps get picked and banned in a Zerg versus Zerg or a PvP or a TVT because they are mirror matchups. And I'm trying to read into this. I don't know exactly what to expect from these guys, but given it's SHIN and DRG, probably be some pretty aggressive games.
It could be some fast ones. Let's get into this.
I love the graphics this season.
Yeah, they definitely stepped it up this time around.
All right, in the bottom left, spawning is the red Zerg DRG. In the top right, we have SHIN.
Oh, that's right. We're not doing the intros. I'm still not used to this yet.
I'm still not quite used to it. I was like, well, I'll introduce SHIN after he comes off camera.
Yeah. It's good to have people back at the studio again.
Yeah, a lot of people in the crowd today.
And guys, don't forget, we're on every Thursday until the season's done, obviously.
Oh, so SHIN, cheesy fella. Hatch, gas, pool. I'm thinking this might just be a straight up link flood.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll see. I think Pig in particular is quite a fan of this build.
This is a good build.
Because it should look to DRG as he scouts across the map, just like a hatch first opening.
This is one of the crazy things about RTS openings is like sometimes you have a completely different build, but on the surface when you peek in, it looks like it is not the build it is.
Right. It's
especially versus Zerg. Yeah, you get these openers where like they might misread it, and then all these lings come in there and they just get wiped out.
And I wonder exactly how many drones SHIN is going to get up to with this build, because he does have a little bit of time if he wants to wait for starting link production. Sometimes you see players go all the way up to 20 drones for going the all-in, so it seems like just one more. So 16 drones, about as aggressive as it gets for a hatch first opening like this one.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, DRG on his side of the map is still mining gas, I think with one drone maybe at a time. Circling speed is already done, so he does have the potential to throw down a Bailing Nest or a Roach Warren should the situation call for it, but my question is, how quickly is he going to realize that this Ling all-in is coming, because DRG is actually gearing up to take a third hatchery right now, Tasteless.
Yeah, and when you see the third hatchery being sent out, that means he does not expect an attack to come in. Now look at this. He's even going to start to make it look like he wants to wall in. Like, oh no, I hope you don't Ling rush me.
I love that.
I better wall in.
Shin's making 12 Lings right now, too.
And
DRG, excuse me, I got the names mixed up there. DRG is now starting Ling production and going for Baneling Nest.
Did he oversell this?
And have two players all ending each other here, Tasteless.
Yeah, this is actually kind of funny.
Yeah.
All right. Not!
The cancel's done.
But, you know, now the Lings are going to come across the map. Now, the fact that there's a Baneling's Nest coming is the one saving grace here for DRG.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't look like he's going to cancel that hatchery just yet. Of course, the Lings are going to beeline over here to the natural. He's going to put the Queens in the front, the Lings in the back. We don't have any eggs started yet here for the Banelings.
Oh, you got to be careful here as DRG moving forward like this. Gives an opportunity for Shin to get a big surround on those Queens, taking a lot of damage. The front line is evaporated. First Queen gets surrounded, taken down. DRG is going to retreat here to the ramp, but the Ling flip might just be too much. Baneling Nest now almost complete, but I don't know if DRG is going to have time to get any more Lings out.
Yeah, we don't have any Banes being produced here. The Queens have been picked off. The Ling reinforcements have come in. 16 more Lings about to hatch over here for DRG, but he needs to get his Zerglings with those Lings that are about to reinforce.
And those 16 Lings, they might be enough, as Shin right now, the reinforcements a little bit slow moving across the map. More Lings popping right now for DRG, trying to hold the ramp. Reinforcements from the natural expansion. A pretty good fight here to start things out for DRG. He does have a couple more Lings. This just continues to go back and forth, and now Shin sees the first Baneling. He knows that he's kind of on a clock if he wants to continue with this attack. He has to make it work right now.
Ooh, good job. He takes out that Baneling that was morphing. I didn't see if there was one morphing in the main, but I don't see any on the map. He's morphing some on the ramp.
Oh, I love this cocoon right here on the ramp.
Yeah, it's really good.
Kind of reinforcing the wall, but that Queen eventually is going to go down. Will it buy enough time for these Banelings to get done? I think the one at the top of the ramp surely is going to finish.
Oh, he gets it in time, but the next one comes out.
Pretty good connection there. Gets 5 or 6 Lings.
19 workers versus 19 workers. Another Baneling starts. The third hatchery that was canceled. The drone is still there. He does get a dive onto that Baneling, but the cocoon is safe, and the Baneling will hatch.
4 HP on that cocoon right now, and I think Shin, he's given up on this a little bit. He does throw down a Baneling's nest, but he's already started to pump out some drones. 25 drones now in total here for Shin to the 19 of DRG.
Tries to send one Ling up into the main. I don't know that he can get in there. He sends a second Zergling up. He's going to come through, count the drones. Sees a third drone coming down from the main.
So Shin should have a pretty good idea of exactly where DRG is at, and it seems like I got to kill the creep tumor to build the wall. And
yeah,
that's smart. Things might normalize from here. It looked like DRG was basically on death's row, man. That Queen was wigging out right there. Quite a big shake, but oh, it's crazy how such aggressive openings like these ones can just.
Yeah, suddenly we're just in a game right now.
Simmer down.
Workers are basically even. There's no third base on either side.
Oh.
We're getting that Baneling tech out now.
It really has calmed down. I would say if you're tuning in just now, you would have no idea.
Yeah,
you would have no idea.
It's kind of a slow ZVZ.
What happened here in the early game.
So the Roach Warren's going to come down as well. It is going to be the third base seized again here for DRG.
Let's see if she can get a hatchery cancel here, as those 4 Lings can get a little bit of damage in. Those Banelings not quite able to get the intercept. Oh, that's a pretty good hit. 6 or 7 Lings go down, as Shin just going to try and trade these units out as best he can.
Yeah, he's going to be able to damage that hatchery. He can try to do zoning here with the Banes. It's only 2 Lings attacking, so there are actually more Lings for DRG. He's able to avoid most of those Banes. You can see there's a little bit of reaching here for DRG. He needs to try to get into a spot where he can actually cover this. I think he did manage to basically push Shin away.
Yeah, but one thing I really did like there for Shin is that he forced DRG to make a lot more units that he probably didn't want to have to make, but I say that and DRG gears up with Roach production, so it seems like this time it's his turn to be aggressive. Shin taking the triangle third right now in the low ground, but Ling's already assaulting the natural expansion. Can he wall it in time?
He does get that wall up.
Oh, just barely, though.
Those Roaches are coming out. They can fire over the Queen.
Yeah, wow.
Drive that back.
I don't know if Shin can actually defend this third hatchery. It's going to have very low HP after these Lings are done with it. Yeah, there will be the cancel.
I'm feeling like this is getting better and better here for DRG. He's going to run in and try to do a scout. He will be able to get in the main, see exactly what's going on here.
Those roaches that DRG made, they are not moving across the map just yet. He's already starting link production, so if he's going to go, I feel like now might be the time. Although maybe he's just going to kind of bank and wait until that third hatch is just done before the investment actually kicks in.
We do have the missile attack upgrade coming down for SHIN. That will be a major factor here if it's just going to be Ling Roach versus Ling Roach. But with the third base done, a couple extra drones are over here. SHIN is ahead in the worker count, though. So maybe the drone count isn't the most important thing at this phase of the game. Maybe it's really just who's just getting more minerals bit by bit here.
Yeah, and it seems like DRG is basically timing this attack to come in before that third hatchery can do anything to pay for itself. It's a lot of Lings and Ravagers tasteless. SHIN actually has none on the field right now, just pure Roaches. Roach speed only halfway done. Oh, and that's part of the wall in, too.
I don't think he can deny the upgrades. I think we're just a little bit too late on that. He might have one more round. No.
Close.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's too bad.
I think if he went for it, he could have gotten it.
Yeah,
but
well, there's no way to know, right? But, I mean, yeah, had he been able to get that, he could end up... Nah, I guess there's probably just enough time on the Roach Warren here as well. Oh!
It gets canceled.
Not bad.
Oh, that's dangerous. SHIN can't even make any more Roaches right now. This is disastrous for him. He doesn't really have the gas to make many Ravagers either, as the Lings are going to come in. If they can get us around right now, that should tee up the Biles here for the Ravagers. Some big hits right there on the Roaches. A lot of damage getting done, but the Roach count might just be a little bit too high here for SHIN. He's getting on top of the Ravagers.
Yeah,
Number of them already getting taken down.
He's still got those upgrades on those Roaches. They're just able to tear down anything over there. That's going to be a GG.
Wow.
SHIN takes game one. A crazy back and forth.
Yeah, that was a wild game.
That was sick.
DRG defends by the skin of his teeth, and then SHIN also barely defends. If +1 range weapons gets taken out, I mean, if that evolution chamber goes down, maybe
it might have gone better.
Second.
Yeah. Well, it was wild because he almost got both upgrades, but clearly that's the one that mattered. And but yeah, even when you were saying that, the Lings come in, it's like, well, this tees up the Biles, but then all the Lings disappear so fast.
That +1 really paid.
Kind of a counterintuitive game to watch. You don't normally see the 3-base guy panicking and rushing the guy who's getting an upgrade on 2 bases.
I think he felt like he just had this window because he got that cancel on the third hatchery.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you're going to reinvest in that third hatchery. It's not going to have any payoff. You're going to get like a couple larvae out of it, and that's my window to kill you. But explosive, really. An exciting ZVZ to kick things off, and if you like that kind of action, we have a lot more ZVZs in store for you today.
Don't you worry about a thing. There's plenty more ZVZs tonight. We're going to go into game number 2 here on Golden Aura. Our ZVZ continues on. Right now, SHIN with a 1-0 lead versus DRG.
All right.
Oh God, we're not doing. Dude, this is going to be a whole season of me just sitting here quietly, like production messed up, and I'm not going to say anything until they figure it out.
Yeah, SHIN, the blue Zerg in the top left, DRG, the red Zerg in the bottom right. For a second there, I was wondering whether SHIN was going to be doing the same opening here in game number 2, but not just yet.
So it's going to be Hatch first on both sides. Pretty interesting short game back there.
I say that, and then he goes back into the 15 gas. We have the 14 pool. Oh my goodness.
Get ready.
Same build again. SHIN really does like this opening, by the way. I see this, I think, in every single ZBZ series that I watch him play.
Yeah.
I was watching him play versus Dark from IAM on the train ride over to the studio today. And I think the last game that I watched was also this build.
Yeah.
It's just like, I watched 3 SHIN games in a row, opening 15 hatch, 15 gas, 15 or 14 pool, and oh man.
I mean, he's good at it.
That's one of the reasons why he was such a scary opponent, even just a couple of years ago. There was a while, I think it was 2022, if I'm not mistaken, where we were actually wondering, like, is Ragnarok just the best Zerg in Korea now? Because he was getting top 6, I think, every single season. He got second place to Maru in the last GSL of the year, if memory serves, and he did taper down a little bit after that. 2023 was a little bit more quiet for him, but he's always been dangerous.
Sorry, I didn't mean to run over you there. Him and Creator have been two guys I've been watching really closely to see, like, okay, are they going to get to, like, the next evolution? Are they going to be, you know, entering into their final form here? But, you know, he's been overshadowed historically by just these other Zergs that are in GSL. But I think he's definitely been improving. So we've got Ling speed coming down on both sides, pretty much even.
Just a little bit faster there for SHIN, and he's actually droning quite heavily here. So similar opening, but it seems like this is kind of his go-to in terms of starting out, and then he has a couple different ways to branch off. At IEM, he went up to 20 drones and then did the Ling Flood, and the previous game against DRG, I think it was 16 or 17 drones. And now here in game 2 against DRG, it's just pretty much nothing but drones. But from DRG's perspective, this looks about the same. Even the evolution chamber and the natural wall looks the same. So a little bit of mind games here in the ZBZ, just 2 games into the series.
18 Lings about to pop here. Oh, no!
Yeah, it's tough to get that wall in right. And also the
Queens. God, they're still alive, too.
Did he even notice he's coming into the main base? Because the Queens were attacking that Overlord there in the main. They did not deny the full scout.
You're just talking about how smart that was.
Huh.
So he's not making more right now.
That is not a wall in. That is not a wall in DRG. That Queen going to get picked off immediately here. And now drones are falling.
I feel like he should have been ready for this. Now these Lings are going to come in here and do a lot of damage.
Yeah,
he scouted it, and he's still going to die to it.
He did not give this the respect it deserves. Because it's hitting so much later, I think he just kind of wrote this off.
They were both tabbed out when the Lings scouted. That's what happened. Okay, so there's 15 workers. This is so weird.
I don't mean to call games early, but
I'll call
DRG
games early.
is dead, Tasteless.
That's just wild. He's like, what are you doing? You're making Lings?
DRG saw the Lings come out of the main base.
You see a wall, if you see a wall and Lings, then the wall you're trying to sell that it's not Lings.
I wouldn't be surprised if DRG just tapped out right now. Because he's not going to bring this wall in. I mean, 3 Queens, it's basically no DPS, but the Roach Warren's already done.
Just imagine if a transfuse came down on that Queen. Oh my god, he's not going to kill. He's just, that's just, it's worse than I even thought. The point I was trying to make was just imagine that Queen doesn't die, and then it doesn't die.
It's like somebody in like an FPS game when they toggle to like 16,000 DPI and they spin 10 times and then no-scope you. Like
yeah.
That's what SHIN did with that Queen right there.
The number of Lings that were bled off there, it's a little bit shy of double the workers here. SHIN that far ahead. Queens all still alive.
I mean, DRG's going to stick it out because I think he's a little bit thrown off by how committed SHIN might have been, but...
Well, I think that right now, I mean, SHIN's playing a world-class game.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'm not even going to try to end this game. This game is your problem now.
I like it, man. I mean, these Zergs, they have a lot of ZBZs ahead of them today, assuming that Maru gets out first in this group. It's going to be nothing but ZBZs besides that. And so SHIN right now, he's trying his best to metagame DRG, but also showing that he can branch off from this opening into a couple of different potent variants that are all very dangerous. I guarantee Sue right now is watching this in the break room and is like, okay, how am I going to dissect this build and try and deal with it in my series?
Yeah.
I mean, the mind games are just out of the world right now. And SHIN, I think when he moves across the map with these 18 roaches to DRG's 43 drones in 2 Queens, Dongregru will finally tap out.
Yeah, that's going to be wow. That's my favorite ending we've had so far, guys. That was probably the weirdest game of the whole night. I mean, if you scout the mass Lings and then the Lings come and attack you and kill you, and you don't have a wall in, you don't have your Queens protected, you don't have Lings to block.
I think DRG might have thought that he had a wall in there at the natural expansion, but when you have the buildings lined up diagonally like that in the natural, your Queen has to be placed basically perfectly.
As Artosis says, it didn't make.
The problem is he made it, but it just didn't fit.
It didn't fit.
The Queen was like slightly off center, and if that thing is not picture perfect, He is going to go down. DRG, he does not look happy with that game because I know that he's kicking himself. If he threw down one more evolution chamber to complete the wall in, or even just turn that into a one-tile gap for the queen to the minimal surface area, that game continues on. Maybe he takes a little bit of damage, but he's not dead. Instead, his queen count, or his drone count gets reset basically to nothing. And guys, we're going to go to a short break. When we get back, Maru versus SHIN in the winners match.